Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast, where the gaming table is usually set for two. Now, this episode is very special and a little bit different. Normally, this is a podcast about getting to know interesting people through one-on-one, bespoke, two-player role-playing experiences. This week, however, we're flipping that a little bit on its head. My guest is Third Person, the award-winning writing team behind Midst, Unend, and Moonward. And we collectively sat down as a group for a wonderful interconnected playthrough of Chris Longhurst's solo RPG, See Issue X. Now, why change up the format for this one? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Third Person is as singular a writing team as I have ever experienced, and if I wanted to put together an episode that really showcased what I love about Midst, and it is genuinely one of my favorite audio fiction productions in years, it only felt right to sit down with them as a group to show off their chemistry, the way that they bounce off of each other, and the singular voice that comes out when all three of them are together. Now, if you haven't listened to Midst, you should. It's incredible. But to quote their trailer, what it is pretty simple. It's a weird, surrealist, fourth-wall-breaking, reality-bending science fantasy space western about a small, doomed planet floating in a cosmic ocean of spooky darkness, upon whose alien landscape and ensemble cast of characters, including a crotchety outlaw, a freakishly virtuous cultist, and a weird, diabolical bastard make awful decisions and fight like hell to survive when the moon falls out of the sky, and a large number of terrible things happen in rapid succession. If that pitch doesn't hook you, I don't know what will. You can learn more about Midst at midst.co or check the show notes for more information. Now, to really make this episode still feel like Party of One, even with a group of three people, it was really important to me that we found a game that was like a really wonderful, evocative solo RPG that everyone could lean in on and make the story spectacular as a group. And to do that, I pulled on one of my actual all-time favorite role-playing games, See Issue X. See Issue X is a love letter to comic books, superheroes, and the convoluted continuity therein. It is a tabletop RPG where you tell both the story of a superhero and also stand in the shoes of the writer as you struggle with their ever more unwieldy backstory. When the gray aliens threaten the Earth, that's one thing. When they kidnap Aunt Harriet's dog, that's, well, a little odd, but you can sell it. When they bring the hero back from the grave because of their shared love of board games, you know you're working with real comic book nonsense. I love this game. This is genuinely like my personal creative writing game that I play and don't share with anybody because it's really important and special to me. This game is wonderful, and I could not be more excited to sit down with a group of people that I really trust and admire, and was so excited to get to tell a story together. I think you're going to really dig what we landed on. You can find more information about See Issue X at potatocubed.itch.io or check the show notes for more information. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. My guest this week is actually, well, this is a little unusual. It's actually three guests. I'm sitting down with Third Person. Everybody, I'm so happy to have y'all on the show.
Hi.
Hello.
It's party of three.
Yeah, thanks for making an exception for our huge numbers.
I mean, candidly, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if role-playing games with three people work, technically. Like, I don't know if this works with more than one person, but, like,
We're
I'm
here
willing
to
to
find
experiment,
out.
you know?
Yes.
This is an experiment in actual play.
Well, we speak as one. So.
Yeah, would it help if we spoke in eerie unison the entire time?
If actually we could just spend the next hour and a half with all three of you speaking in perfect unison,
Sure,
I think that would be the ideal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just sync that up in post,
Just
right?
sync that up in post, right?
This is going to be great. That's going to be great for editing. That's going to be great for
Everyone
the listener
will
experience.
love
Everyone will love that.
Oh, God, I already hate this.
I already hate this. This is going well.
Well, I am sitting down today with Matt. I'm sitting down today with Zen, and I'm sitting down today with Sarah from Third Person. Why don't y'all take a moment to introduce yourselves, talk about what you've got going on, talk about like what our audience might know you from, as well as anything that you want them to know about.
Sure. I said sure, so I guess that means I'm going first. Hi.
Yeah, you backed into that one.
I'm Sarah. I'm Sarah Weil. You probably just know me for the things that I've done with Third Person because we were invisible before that. You may know us for Midst, you may know us for Moonward, or you may know us for our currently releasing podcast, Unend, and those are all part of the Midst cosmos. And I do some of the art for that. So yeah, that's my contribution. I'm the art one.
Good contribution.
Thank you.
It's honestly great like I was gonna save this until everyone has spoken, but like I want the art like I mean I know that we met at New Jersey Webfest 2021 when y'all won Best of the Best, which I have pointed to for the last 3 years and gone like, oh, those are my friends that won Best of the Best at New Jersey Webfest.
Here's our friend who won Best Game Master.
Indeed.
That's right. Don't forget to
that's
hype
true.
Don't
yourself
forget
up.
Jeff Stormer.
But like I remember sitting in the theater when the art came up on the midst screener and just going like, this is what it could be like. This is what every screener could. I remember sitting there and like I was sitting next to Jen and both of us just looking at each other going like, this is something cool, huh? Oh.
Well, I really have to shout out Zen for the final appearance of that because I can draw, but I can't like edit. So it's really only by putting all of our skills together that we're able to do the things that we do.
Yes, and we do put our skills together for the creation of the Midst Cosmos podcast and also semi-YouTube series sometimes.
Don't forget to introduce yourself.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah,
I'm
who are
Zen.
you?
I'm Zen.
Who are you,
I'm the
Ethan?
other. I'm one of them. One of these. And yeah, we create the Midst series
person.
in partnership with Critical Role. Midst, the original science fantasy podcast, is out in its entirety, in the fullness of all 3 of its seasons, available wherever you get your podcasts or through Critical Role's YouTube channel. Our currently ongoing Midst story, Unend, is ongoing now, and we also have a completed YouTube sort of actual play game miniseries called Moonward, which is a tabletop role-playing Midst story as well. So lots of
Which
Midst.
Zen game mastered and which Matt and I, along with Marisha and Liam from Critical Role, got to participate in as the players.
Yeah, so if you like weird science, fantasy, strange cosmological adventure, and spooky things, that's Midst, and that's what we do.
And Zen does basically all of the sound components of the story.
I mean, Matt and I
crafting.
make sound.
We make some sound, but Zen stitches all of the sound together.
Yes, Zen
using-
makes something of the sound,
Indeed,
if you will.
Indeed. Inclusive of guitars and synth and editing and all of these to fabricate a very rich and luscious audio experience in each case, Midst, Moonward, and Unend all. So if science fiction fantasy is something you might be interested in, you can hear us all doing that sort of a thing. And I'm Matt. Thank you.
I was about to
know
prompt you.
I saw you getting ready to prompt me. I'm Matt, Matt Rowan, and I like to fuss with some of the writing involved in Midst. We have some pieces of in-universe material from the story that we refer to as either the appendices or the ephemera that I've had the sublime pleasure of getting to kind of craft and construct in my own manic way. But we're very, 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 very excited to participate in a different shared universe, one that we
Yes.
all get to co-create today.
With
I'm-
Jeff Stormer. This is great. Thanks for having us.
I'm so excited. And like truly, so obviously, like I said, this is a weird episode because we're doing Party of One with 3 people. But like, I will say the reason that like I elected to do this, the reason that I sat down and I was like, I can do this with exactly one group and it's third person is because like I love Midst so much and I love the way that like the 3 of you collectively have such a singular voice on the show and the way that like the story bounces between the 3 of you and it feels like it is like and even if it is not like either the Midst show itself is not like an actual play, but like it has that energy of like hearing
Yeah.
3 people's creative energy come into a creative space in a spontaneous kind of way. And like that was the thing where I was like, I think that we can capture the energy of a great Party of One episode, but with the 3 of you, only because I've heard your show for hours and hours and I've gone like that. It has that same energy and that same vibe. And so like I am stoked to be doing this.
Oh, that
Thank
is
you.
so kind.
Yeah, I mean, Mids came out of our love of role-playing. We started as gamers first and podcasters second, and we've spent years playing many games together, and Mids itself was born out of a game setting that we originally created to play around in.
Yeah.
And that is what turned into an audio drama podcast.
We didn't know how to voice act, but we knew how to make up stories.
Yeah, we knew how to run and play games. So we're hyped to play some game today.
And we have got a great game to play. I have had y'all do a little bit of homework, which means that I don't know what you're bringing to the table, but I'm super excited because we are playing one of my favorite games that has ever been written. We are playing C Issue X, which is a role-playing game about superheroes and the people who write them. It is a celebration of complicated comic book continuity. And we are going to introduce some superheroes, and then we're going to see what happens when those superheroes butt heads and team up and stare down the big, weird, elaborate world of comic books. So let me throw this to all three of you. Like, what is it that you're excited about this week? What is it about this game that made you jump at it? Like, what is the energy that you're bringing to the table as we sit down to play this?
So I was drawn to it because we all love absurdity, and things definitely get absurd within the comic book extended universe. It sounded very like it has high potential for fun and goofiness. Not that we can't go to some deep, dark places, but in the stories that we tell, we often explore some pretty profound, weighty subject matter, but we're also silly goofs. Like, and we're always trying to not lose that and to find ways to make room for that in our stories, even when things have gotten really dark. So
we're also, I think this goes without saying, in almost any situation where you start writing anything, you quickly end up with rather a lot of content that you have to sort of reference and figure out how to work it back in and see why something was relevant. You know, it was mentioned offhandedly pages and pages and pages ago. And
yes, and fans will remember what is canon better than you do after a certain point.
So frankly, that kind of prison of continuity is what excites me. I'm really looking forward to trying to figure out how to operate within the bounds that we have crafted for ourselves for these particular heroes. Or, I'm stoked about that personally.
Yeah, as soon as a wildly convoluted, cumbersome, and burdensome web of backstory wrangling was mentioned, I knew that this was, we resemble this.
Yeah, I'm
We're
excited
well familiar.
that resolving continuity awkwardly it's a feature, not a bug in this game. It is to be expected.
Getting to play in this space for choice instead of obligation is a real joy. I'm really excited. So with that, so the homework that I've given each of you is, if you've listened to our previous episode with Pooja when we played the game, we've gone through the origin story arc. We went through kind of the introducing of a character. And I wanted to really get into, especially since we're going to have 3 superheroes interacting, I wanted to get into the big elaborate parts very, very quickly. And so I have asked each of you to take 8 playing cards, and follow the origin story arc in the game. The way that the game works is really fundamentally, you're going to draw cards from a deck. Each card has a prompt associated with it. You're going to answer those prompts. And as things come up from a continuity standpoint, you're going to write things and draw things on those cards. And I have asked each of you to go through the origin story arc, make up a superhero, and then we are going to go round table show and tell, and we are going to introduce our characters. And then the question for each of you, and I think we gestured towards this, do you think it's more fun to do a day in the life of each of your characters first, or dive right into a team up, a super team, and possibly a League of Evil?
I'm leaning towards jump into interactive scenes.
I think
Let's combine.
I think that feels all right. I think that feels good. So I'll have each of you go through the deck of cards that you've built. And then once we've met our 3 characters, we'll shuffle that deck together and get right into the superhero team up, smash 'em up action.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, so we'll be drawing cards that have to do with other
people's cards, and thus the continuity becomes even more
I
complicated.
love it.
Oh no! What about my precious powers? What if someone else gets my powers?
They'll have to figure out how
Can
it comes
you
up in
imagine
play.
that happening in comics?
Uh-oh.
So who would like to introduce their character first?
How do we choose? Do we flip
I
something?
don't know.
we didn't
I
pick
will
an
say
order.
we haven't
No, we've been keeping these a
discussed our
secret from each
characters
other
with
too.
each other either, so we're all being surprised
Yeah.
today.
I'm so excited. I'm even more excited. I will throw it to Matt. Matt, go ahead and introduce us your character.
Very
Kick us
good.
off.
Thank you for assigning me, Jeff. I would be thrilled to tell you about my...
It's counterclockwise on the screen. You were the unfortunate person in the 3 position.
So be it. Well, let me see what I can do here. So we think about books like Through the Looking Glass as having been fiction, generally. We sort of agree that to be the case. 'Twas brillig, we're all mad here. Do you play croquet? And that sort of a thing. Made up, right? It's more real than you know. Ivan Ixlac was always curious, poking into cupboards, boxes, closets, but he spent the most of his time as a child watching the mirrors in his childhood home. This really only became noteworthy when he discovered that he could step into the mirrors. It was as though you were sticking your head under a cold torrent of water, but just like that, you could pass into the mirror realm. Sightlines and corners are funny in there, but Ivan learned how to understand the passageways, the paths through the mirror world. And while there, discovered 2 key things. One, that it is possible to bridge vast distances. It is possible to bridge vast distances, effectively fast traveling through the mirror. And the other, perhaps more important lesson yet, was that you must not lose yourself to the reflections.
I think you should lose yourself to the reflection.
Well,
I mean, it might. I mean,
I'm
we'll
just
see how it
putting
comes up.
my vote immediately for
very
that.
good. So be it.
This is really cool, Matt.
Oh, excellent. Hey, thank you.
Ooh.
The mirrors weren't really a problem until Ivan visited a location in a local museum that is just referred to as the Gallery. The gallery contains a collection of a number of very historic mirrors. Usually the frames are the thing that we make the most hullabaloo about when we're visiting said museums, but each mirror is noteworthy in more ways than one, shall we say. But while visiting this gallery on a school trip, it so happened, with my twin brother Vic and principal Alice from our school, something came out of one of those mirrors. A sort of quicksilver entity that tried to emulate each of my classmates in turn.
Hell yeah.
Sort of capturing our likenesses, attempting to seize our guise, if you will, and in some cases doing so until there was nothing left. Principal Alice got horrifically, it turns out. She was wrenched inside out until only the reflection of her remained, the quicksilver creature from within the mirrors, from within the gallery, and it tried to get me too. But I ran. I escaped into the gallery, fleeing into one of these mirrors, and found my way into Daniel Mart. For a damn good deal, try Daniel.
Always.
Cut to commercial.
Every time.
Daniel Mart.
Inside
This episode brought to you by.
Inside of Daniel Mart, I faced down this mirror beast, and I was able to prevail. I was able to maintain a sense of self. My own reflection was not captured and seized by this creature, but I knew then that I had encountered something truly horrific and beyond the realm that I was previously accustomed. But I was ready now. Now I knew what to do. And this is the story of Mirror Man.
Yes,
Wait,
let's
Mirror
go.
Man. But how old are you? Because you said you
Well,
were on a school trip.
So I've always had these powers. I could just go into mirrors anytime, but
Oh, okay.
I didn't. It didn't really get to be an issue until it was a school trip. Probably in my high school years. I've gone beyond that now.
Okay,
I've
you're-
leaned into. This was just the origin story, after all. You can check
Oh,
many
yes.
other issues for the full breakdown. But
A mirror young man doesn't have quite the same.
indeed,
Mirror youth.
mirror young adult. No.
Yeah.
So my first off, I gotta say, I did not fully piece together that I had handed 3 writers a series of writing prompt and that I might actually get fully written things, and that I was just gonna get like introduction to like, here's my guy and their vibe, and then so the second that I saw you pull out the book and start reading, I was just like hands on my mouth like, oh no,
That was your first mistake.
my whole day has been made.
Well, that's just one
this is
of these characters.
This is my prompt for you before we throw it to Zen. What is the visual aesthetic? If we're talking about comic books, what is the visual aesthetic, the art style, the vibe of Mirror Man's comic book?
Sure. Generally, I am going to say that scenes that take place in the day-to-day world are given sort of a desaturated palette.
Interesting.
When passing into the mirror realm, where things are a little bit more absurd or rules are more easily bent or broken, I think the colors are a little bit more garish, a little bit more saturated. And I would say there's probably even a slightly different printing process done. Maybe, I guess I'm thinking about the little, like, the dots that appear in, like, newsprint comic books. That's probably used in the, like, IRL scenes, but it's more crisp and clear and vector art, we'll say, inside of the mirror. So
Liquidy.
those are just some visual elements that I think I would throw in there.
There's no way that you could have known this, but I am the world's biggest Bende Dot fan, and so like the excitement that I feel when I get a Bende Dot reference,
Sweet.
cannot be overstated.
Excellent. We're a bunch of typography and layout nerds here too. So
my college degree is in superhero comics, so all of the weird little details of superhero books, I get my heart fills with glee.
Oh, no
How
wonder
do
this
you
is
feel
your favorite
when you
game.
talk to those people that are like, what are you going to do with a degree in superhero comics? And like, look at you now.
yes,
I tell them that I tell them that I'm an award-winning copywriter and an award-winning podcaster. I've been doing this for a decade.
And then you drop the mic and you walk away,
And then I
putting
drop
on
the
your
mic.
sunglasses.
And I know that my family's going to say it again in a month. It's fine. Zen, introduce us to your superhero.
Well, I will bring to today's storyverse the hero known as Humanity.
Oh,
Great.
Paragon of human potential. Or at least, they would have been. If Dr. Sneed, medical doctor, PhD, MBA, mentor, teacher, legendary humanitarian, and historian, had not been lost in what befell the city. Now, when you gaze upon humanity, their shifting hypno-countenance is a window into the darkest evils and shortcomings of man. You see yourself reflected, a warped shell of the upstanding citizen you believe yourself to be, and your darkest urges grow from a mere murmur to a deafening roar. You see with great clarity your own evils, your own selfishness, your own neuroses and vile manipulative hatefulness. You see your bias, your materialism, your disregard for the earth, your waste, your ruin. You see yourself for what you are. A wretched individualist with malice in its eyes and no love for anyone or anything but itself. When you see the anti-hero Humanity, you see yourself clearly. A virus, a cancer, a human being. Yes, I brought vocal effects.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, we
man.
were drawn to this just for some lighthearted, goofy fun.
Lighthearted, goofy fun. Play around with some continuity.
So I'm playing a hypnotist supervillain named Humanity who will hypnotize you and bring forth your worst instincts, make you go completely nuts, lose your grip on reality, and turn into a grotesque exaggeration of your most terrible self.
So kind of a
Love
super
it.
villain.
Well, they were once a hero. They're using their hypnozorch
you
power
know.
to induce people to become their best selves and their greatest selves. But when Dr. Sneed, MD, PhD, MBA, fell victim to these powers, when those powers malfunctioned, that was the beginning of the end.
I really like that. I get it. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of years of work. And frankly, that's a lot of student loans. So I understand it. And I appreciate name dropping the degrees after every time you name.
We miss Dr. Sneed every day.
I feel like Dr. Sneed might have had a hard time getting respect in day-to-day life for some reason. So
Who knows
it
why?
makes sense they would have listed all the degrees all the time.
Yes, we miss them. It's too bad that they led humanity to ruin.
Same question. What is the visual art style aesthetic of the Humanity comic?
Of the Humanity comic. Oh, that's a great question. I think it is a sort of, what's the word? Not Golden Age, Bronze Age?
There are
Bronze Age,
several
yeah.
ages.
There are
Bronze
many
Age.
ages.
Golden Age is like the
envision-
40s, Bronze, Silver Age, 60s. Bronze Age is like
I'm
70s,
imagining
80s.
a very sort of vintage. Like if you were to go to the store now and find the Humanity comics, they're old. I think so.
Sure,
I'm
okay.
envisioning these sort of vintage, kind of antique comics. I don't know that the Humanity story. People are looking for brighter heroes now. Perhaps it was a failed comic. Maybe they didn't make it that far. But yeah, I imagine
I like
sort of a
this.
Bronze Age, lots of very, very bright, stark, simple printing. The humanity themselves is depicted with a lot of grotesque detail, and their shifting hypno countenance is always displayed as just a bizarre maelstrom of human features.
There's already some
I like this.
intriguing reflections
Indeed.
between the two characters that have been introduced.
Yeah. I think Bronze Age, mostly I'm just envisioning it as being packed with way more ads than usual.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting detail. Yeah.
Somehow, yes. Maybe just sort of consumerism and advertising was really, really big in the Humanity comics. It was just wall-to-wall ads. In some cases, the issues would just have one page of comic and the rest would just be all ads.
Love this. I love this so much. All right, Sarah, introduce us to your hero.
Okay. Brief preamble first. This is how you are to imagine it. It is, you are reading the comic, and it's like those slightly animated things where you like zoom into the comic panel and you see the narration in the caption box overlaid.
Oh, yes.
And this is in first person voice, introducing you to the origin story. Also, I have a very silly idea, and I was originally going to go really goofy with it, but I've decided, as it seems have we all, to just go in an extremely earnest, edgelord, kind of grim, dark
You know what?
direction.
It's the
You
best.
do you.
Yeah.
Part of what might make a
Bare
crossover
your
fun
soul.
is the the differences between the characters, but
Yeah. Okay. So,
Boy, I'm ready. Or am I?
my name is Carl Bordeaux.
Carl?
Carl.
Sorry, this is very serious.
With a K, not that it matters. You can clearly see that because this is a comic book. I'm a grad student dropout who was laughed out of my package engineering program for my ambitious dreams. So I moved away to start my life over in big city. Now I work with packages in the only way I can, by delivering them as a mail carrier. It's honest work, and it makes me feel like I'm helping the world in my own small way. My little brother, Ricky, idolizes me for some reason. He followed me here to Big City and is currently studying to be a veterinarian. I try to look out for him. He hasn't yet been jaded by the injustice of this world. One of the stops on my
Great.
route is the mysterious government research facility. All those are capitalized. That's what it says on the sign when you drive up.
Of course.
Bold and italic. Sure.
Yeah.
Big city research.
Yeah. There's a German scientist there named Dr. Schema. Nice lady, friendly acquaintance of mine. One day when I was picking up her packages, I got a paper cut. You ever gotten a cardboard paper cut? That shit hurts. Dr. Schema made a big fuss over me, gave me a Band-Aid, and sent me on my way. That very night, I started developing strange abilities. The power to control cardboard with my mind. What are you laughing about?
Nothing.
Okay, should I keep going? Okay.
Please continue. Please continue.
Yes, I didn't understand what was happening to me. I went back to Dr. Schema, and she helped me understand and control my powers. She was kind to me, like a wacky science grandma, but part of me always wondered, did she make this happen? Did she care for me as a person, or just as a specimen?
one of her experiments. I grew stronger. Dr. Schema warned me not to make any showy displays of my powers, but I wanted to use them to help the world. I hadn't felt this much drive since grad school. I'd heard that the animal shelter where my little brother worked was being forced to euthanize a bunch of animals because they didn't have the proper facilities to care for them anymore, their building having been severely damaged in a recent superhero battle, as so often happens in Big City. But I could help. I couldn't just stand by and let these helpless puppies and kittens be put to death. More than that, I couldn't let Ricky get hurt, not when I had the power to help. So I mustered all the new cardboard manipulation power inside me. I fixed the whole building with incredible cardboard architecture, temporary but enough to buy them time for permanent repairs, enough to save the lives of those animals. Everyone said it was a miracle. Cardboard is so much stronger and more versatile than people realize. But that's when the shadowy agents from Unknown Agency arrived. They stormed a government research facility and rounded up all the scientists, all because they were looking for me. Dr. Schema helped me escape by dressing up in a cardboard suit and pretending to be me. They killed her, and then they set the whole building on fire and destroyed everything inside. The news reported it as a freak electrical fire. I barely escaped with my life. And now I'll never know what Dr. Schema's true motives were. I'm adrift, alone in a world that doesn't understand cardboard. And yet, I still want to help this world, but I must do it in secret, as Captain Cardboard.
You're damn right.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And Captain Cardboard
I'm
is very serious and not funny at all, actually.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Listen. I have read too many superhero comics to ever look at a character concept and go, "This is not the most serious thing on the planet."
Yeah.
Captain Cardboard.
I was there in the trenches when Super Ball, the Super Bowl themed superhero, got blown up in got blown up by a villain that's and then got put into like an Iron Maiden style torture thing and became Penance and then was a government assassin for a while.
Oh.
Comic books are great and I love them.
This is going well. Unknown Agency.
I don't know.
Agents from Unknown
But these are
Agency.
capitalized. Like, I try to make it clear when I have capitalized words
Yes.
in my speech. Yeah.
I like that. Are we in Big City? Who knows?
Perhaps.
Corporate headquarters.
I
in
have a feeling
Danielmart.
I have a feeling we're going to be in a lot of places because we are going to kick things off with a crossover event to see what happens when these characters meet each other before we either see the League of Evil Villains or the formation of a super team.
Hell yeah. Oh, but don't you want to know my comic book style? before
I
we
I
do.
do.
move
Yes.
on?
What is the aesthetic art style of the Captain Cardboard comic?
It's like Sin City, like Frank Miller,
Totally.
just black and white, no shades in between,
Ooh.
very harsh, very noir, very serious, very masculine.
Except for occasionally, perhaps, just the stark brown shades of cardboard? No?
Maybe they come in like a brown cover.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's printed
Okay.
in cardboard.
Yeah. Each page is a sheet of corrugated cardboard. They're very thick issues.
Oh,
I love it.
I want these comics immediately.
I'm so giddy.
And I'm just going to go back to the
this-
beginning and remind you that my name is Carl Bordeaux.
Right.
Oh
Bordeaux.
my God, you're right. It is.
That's great. That's good. Comics are great. comics are the only
I just
purely
love
good art
it when
form.
the people have a name that's like
Of course.
suspiciously
Yep.
thematic for
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
they're-
yeah.
All right. I am thinking we are gonna dive right in. I'm gonna throw this to you. Do you want to see like a big comic book crossover event that introduces your characters to one another and then the formation of a super team, or are we visualizing like how these characters come together in a super team immediately? In short, I'm asking, do you want to do the crossover event arc or the super team arc,
Okay,
or possibly the League of Evil?
I don't know how to answer this. All I know is I think we should collide quickly, if possible.
Yeah.
Let's collide. Let's do a crossover event and then the forming of the team, and then
Sounds great.
because I think a crossover event
Okay.
has some big. something big is coming.
Ideal.
Something so dangerous or all-encompassing it's going to affect everyone on Earth and perhaps even elsewhere in the universe.
yes.
I see.
Uh,
Forcing us to
I like
collaborate.
nothing better.
So at this moment, you are all going to take your 8 cards,
Got 'em.
your 8 card decks, shuffle them together, and then throw 2 blank cards into the mix.
Shuffle all of our 3 decks together, like into one
Yeah.
combined deck.
into one big combined
Okay, here
25
goes.
card
It's
deck.
It's
I'll be
happening.
the designated shuffler. Oh my gosh.
It's
Once you've done it, you can't undo it.
Use your cardboard powers to manipulate the deck.
And we need 2 new fresh cards per person or total.
It says 2 cards. I'm gonna say 2 cards per person because I think like adding a nice amount of blank cards is part of the fun.
Okay. Could you extract 6 blank cards for me?
And does it matter what any additional like suit information about them?
Any two different, as long as there are at least 2 different suits, that's all that matters.
I have confirmed
Looks like
there
we
are
have
at
a good
least 2
spread.
different suits.
Okay.
They are being integrated now.
Shuffling sound effects here.
Where's Carl Bordeaux when you need him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the sort of the cutoff is. There just like a hard limit to what is or isn't? I guess.
Oh,
we'll
I
find
have
out.
notes.
Oh, well, I shouldn't
I've
ask
prepared
now.
an
I'm so-
entire list of awesome cardboard facts in case
Excellent.
I need them.
Excellent.
I would be so mad if you hadn't done research on the cardboard. If you had brought us Captain Cardboard and hadn't like dug into that.
I studied.
Oh, good.
Okay, we have our shuffled combined.
All
deck.
right. So then we are going to introduce the menace that is coming for all of us. Flip the top card, and then we are going to assign it a statement based on the suit and possibly mark up a playing card live on the call.
Okay. All right, so we have one that is not marked, and actually it's a jack.
Okay.
So give me that white out because there is no room on this guy.
I
I'll
honestly slapping white on a card specifically to write on it specifically for this game.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying.
It is.
I can't even put it into words.
So yeah, we'll talk about what we're gonna do, and then by the time this dries, it should be good to write on.
Okay.
what is the suit of the card?
Spades.
Okay, so I found the 4 suits are all tied to very specific themes in main comics. Hearts are people with whom you have an emotional connection. Friends, family, nemesis, rivals. Diamonds are values. They are principles that you hold dear and virtues you try to live up to, lessons you've learned. Clubs are places. And spades, I'm so excited that spades is the one that we have flipped because spades are superhero stuff.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
powers and elaborate special effects. So this big menace is a power writ large tied to this. It originates from this. We are going to mark this card with a threat that only superheroes need to deal with at a small or normal scale. What is the first like superhero power that comes to mind that is exciting to watch like a big ominous villain play around with?
Oh. I mean, anything that kind of puts the entire populace of a planet at risk is always a big threat, like mind control or turning people into stone or some sort of a weird plague.
Turning people into stone is so compelling. Like that's so
It's
compelling.
classic, right?
It's evocative. It's evocative, right?
Because, you know, it could be, are they dead? Are they just being saved for later? Are they conscious of their imprisonment? There's so many ways to take
Yeah, I mean,
it.
you want to go in like a classic direction, like turning people into stone, or something a little bit more conceptual, like they just have the ability to colossally increase the amount of taxes that you are due to pay.
Ooh, hard choice.
Remember, it's a problem that superheroes
Oh, that's right.
face.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a little too close to reality at the moment.
Going a little anime with
Yeah.
it just because it's on my mind. I'm gonna pitch that this is, how do we feel about like transmogrification, transmutation, Full Metal Alchemist style changing of the chemical properties of things
Great.
at a large, colossal cosmic
Terrific.
scale.
Yeah.
Sure. Is it to
Sign me
like
up.
make everything
Alchemy?
concrete or
So it can change things into stone, it can change things into liquid, it can like dissolve things. Like it
I
is
love
it is the changing of chemical matter from one thing. You know,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
Many
changing
things.
lead
The
into gold.
rematerializer.
yes?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Real alchemy shit.
I like it.
Okay, is there a fun alchemy pun we can think of? Like The Alchematrix.
That's a great
The Alchem-
question.
Substrator. But it's like traitor spelled like
The
TRAI.
Alchemeister. Oh,
Oh, I like Alchemeister. That's very good.
the Alchemander.
Are we naming the power or are we naming
Oh,
the supervillain?
good question. I don't know.
So right now we're just naming the power because it's going to come up in a thematic sense, and then we're going to continue
Got
to
it.
flip cards to like learn who this person is.
Okay, here's my pitch. What about Malchemy? Because it's Mal.
It's bad.
It's
alchemy.
bad alchemy.
It's bad, Al.
Yes.
Genuinely, I'm not going to say I don't love Malcolmy a lot.
So
I'm not going to say that's not the
The
one.
So
Malchemist.
I'm writing Malchemy on this card. That's
Correct.
what I'm
Malchemy
doing.
That
is
is,
very
that is
fun.
the
Okay.
bad power. That is the menace.
Malchemy.
Okay. So how does Malcolmy manifest? Is this a singular supervillain, or is this a thing that has been unearthed? You know, are we dealing with somebody who channels the power? Are we dealing with people cracking the secrets of Malcolmy and like spreading that magic across the world in a chaotic fashion? Like, what's the vibe? What is the menace? And then we can set the scene of like what it looks like as this starts to emerge.
Well, is there a chance, if it was an individual, that individual might be played by a certain game master?
That feels fun.
That sounds
feels fun.
cool
Do you
to
want to
me.
be the big bad, Jeff?
I will be the big bad here.
I want it to be an individual in
okay.
that case. I suppose it's sort of a
Malchemist.
nebulous populace.
Okay. Then I'm
An
gonna
entity
go
of
the
some
direction
The Malchemist.
Malchemist.
the Malchemist. The Malchemist. We open in. I mean, pulling in characters. Like we open. Maybe not in the gallery, but definitely in the same kind of aesthetically vector art, larger than life things of the mirror universe of Mirror Man, and we see through a window, and the window becomes the panel of a comic. We zoom in on like a rundown apartment outside of an L track, and somebody is flipping through a book that is ancient and old and bound in leather and looks like legally distinct from the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead movies.
Good. Important.
And this guy is like flipping through this book and like flips to a page, or like closes it, like rubs his eyes, takes off his glasses, rubs the temple of his nose, and like sits up, looks at his TV, and his TV melts in real time.
Oh, no.
He has, even without enacting a ritual here, he has learned the power of this Malcolm. He has learned this power, this transmutative power.
Uh-oh.
And the next thing that we see is he is walking. He has a messenger bag, and we see the book poking out of the messenger bag as he is standing in front of who does this guy hate? Who is this guy's most petty enemy?
Is it Mr. Daniel, the CEO of Daniel Mart?
Oh, nice tie-in.
It is a great tie-in. He is we see him in a Daniel Mart like smock vest. We see him in like a uniform, and he is walking in to Dan Mart headquarters carrying this. And finally, security is waving him down, like, we don't have time. You're supposed to have an appointment, and he's just walking past people, and he's got this book. And finally, he throws open the door, and Mr. Daniel looks up at him with confusion, and then the door closes, and then
and we just hear noises from the other side of the door.
We hear splashing or squashing
Distinctly
noises,
wet sounds.
distinctly wet, squelching-y noises.
A malchemical ambiance?
Oh no.
A
malchemical
malchemical
reaction.
ambiance.
Yeah.
Malchemical reaction. Oh, it's so good.
Do you think that Mr. Daniels, the CEO of Daniel Mart, even though he sits in his corporate office, is still wearing like the Daniel Mart smock, like
certainly, yes.
the retail customers facing uniform?
Yes,
For sure.
I feel like that. I want to know that about him before he gets turned to
Malchemical
goo.
ooze.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. And it's probably a whole jumpsuit. So at first it might seem like a jumpsuit is full of like a weird sort of soup before.
Oh.
Yeah. Ugh.
And the other detail that I'm going to throw to really kick this into high gear, because I think there is something really compelling about this being the enemy, is we are elsewhere we're elsewhere in Big City, and we follow, and like we are at a bookstore, and we see like a self-help book, just like completely generic self-help book. Slowly, a sort of like skin like leather binding overtakes the book. And it becomes the same Malcolmist Necronomicon.
Oh, it's like a self-propagating.
They're disseminating literature. You
It
stop
is.
them.
Spreading the word of
Spreading
Malcolm.
itself.
We gotta destroy these books.
Because they're really easy to learn from. I hate a book that appears for free around the world and teaches people skills.
Especially when it's made of skin.
Well, yes,
Especially
actually.
then.
Genuinely, though.
So that's the vibe of like this there is an entity here pulling the strings that is not this guy who got revenge on
Okay.
Mr. Daniel, and is like
is but the first of
appearing,
many.
Got it.
Yeah, it is the first of many, and there is something manifesting these books. A sort of broader cosmic Malcolmy that is fueling the smaller Malcolmy
Got
that is
it.
now starting to like spread like a virus across the world.
Terrific.
Everything
and
is
terrible.
going well.
Oh,
I kind of
right,
like this guy.
great.
I feel sorry that we might need to defeat him.
I mean,
Maybe we can
even
help
if we
him.
do, feels like there's more powers higher up that we
Uh-oh.
need to take down to
Ooh.
really stop the problem.
Oh no, more comic books.
Oh, which will mean more
comic
issues of
books.
comics.
We're gonna have some tie-ins. We're gonna have all kinds of stuff.
Fantastic.
All right. Now the world knows. Everyone knows about the Menace now. News reports are popping out. Everyone's got an opinion, maybe even one they thought about. You're going to draw 2 cards off the top of the deck, and I will throw it to each of you to choose a state or to pick a statement. I'll read through the statements based on the suit, and then I'll have the 3 of you like stage a scene and talk to me about like what we're seeing across the world, and maybe even scenes, flashes involving your characters as they start to unravel these things.
Okay. We've drawn the first 2 cards.
Yes, I have one and
All right, what
Matt
do you
has
got?
one.
All right, the first card is one of my cards that I have added, which is the 3 of diamonds. And diamonds, as we recall, are sort of prime axioms or morals of our heroes. And this states, "Don't lose yourself in the reflection."
Don't lose.
Ooh.
This is the magic of the game, because I'm going to read you one of 2 prompts, and as you set the scene and as you introduce the character and we pull in other characters, you've got to think about like what
Yeah.
this means.
And are we using both of these cards, or are we choosing between them?
Each card is going to be its own
Okay.
statement. So what is the other card that we have drawn so we can think about our next scene as we're thinking about this one?
I have a blank card, the 9 of clubs.
Okay. That is going to be either the Menace tears something apart early on and you're nearby, or the presence or existence of the Menace transforms this into something new, and then we are going to mark the card with a new place or organization the Menace brings into being.
Okay.
Okay.
Those are both juicy. Okay, so for now, do you want to have a scene that answers the question of how you do your best to help people affected by the Menace even when information is unclear? Or are you pressured to abandon this because of the immediacy of the Menace? Or do we want to answer the club card first? What's the vibe?
Remind me what the club card is again.
Either something gets torn apart, or the Menace creates a new space, and we build a new place or organization that the Menace has brought into being.
I'm kind of liking discovering the place that we're already starting to establish.
Sure.
So I would propose that
Okay.
the Menace will damage or destroy some of this existing environment that we're starting to starting to discover.
Okay.
Okay. So, this club is unmarked.
Correct.
So we are going to mark the card with the ruins of blank. The empty space was somewhere peaceful or beautiful. And then we're going to describe how each of your characters get involved in this, and like how you protect this place or preserve some of this space, and like what you do or how you become aware of the Malchemical Menace.
Well, it sounds like this bookstore is kind of an origin point from which
That's what I was gonna
the
suggest.
Malchemy is beginning to spread. Maybe this
Yeah.
entire bookstore is starting to dissolve, liquefy, transfigure.
Well, but the force seems like it probably wants to retain the books at least. So,
At least initially.
but all the
they're-
books get turned into the same book,
Yes.
copies of the same book, so you can't find whatever you came in to buy, you can only find
Yeah,
the
what if-
legally distinct Necronomicon.
Exactly. All books are turning into the skin book.
Yeah, and like the rest of the bookstore probably changes aesthetically to match as well. Like it's less of a store and more of a dark shrine of
Yes.
malchemic energy. And I think the book should float around too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. By the time we get here, the books are floating.
Floating.
Yeah.
All kinds of malchemical nightmares are starting to unfold. Like this is like we have seen the seeds of this, and now we are seeing the tree.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah, it's the ruins of the bookstore, but I think it's still very much an active hotspot for the spreading of this bad energy.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's probably like a purple aura around it, as so
Particle
often happens.
effects. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
something's rotating evilly in the air, which is how you know it's bad.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a book, probably.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
I'm gonna throw in instead. Now that you've said it is the most Jeff Stormer thing to take a joke response and go, but what if completely sincere
But
and
what if,
serious?
though?
But what if? What do you got, Jeff?
The purple cloud effect. I think the visual that we see as each of your characters becomes aware of this, and I want to throw it to like how you are reacting, how your characters react to this. The visual that we see is that this bookstore, like slowly the books have turned into the malchemical Necronomicons, and now the entire bookstore has that like I guess I should have noted this, and it seems like we're cool with it. Safety note on like skin, flesh, leather aesthetic as like a textural thing spreading
Oh, yeah.
across
I think
this entire
we
vibe.
love that,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
We
We
do that
find
kind of
safety
thing a
and
lot.
comfort in that.
Yeah, I would feel unsafe if we didn't include skin texture.
Great. Great. This sort of leather stitched up skin texture is like spreading across like the entire building, and like we are watching the chemical properties of buildings around it change and become like twisted, like almost semi-liquid, like a mercury-esque metal around it, and like trees have become sort of like twirling liquid mercury trees.
I love the idea that it also has like you said, those skin-like textural properties. It has kind of that cellularness. It has kind of that like
A bounce.
yes.
It's
yeah.
Is it well moisturized skin, or is it like leathery lich skin?
It feels like leathery. I feel like leathery.
right.
Leathery is the energy. And the thing that the visual that it really pops into my head is that twirling purple particle effect cloud in the sky has formed into the exact same kind of like face adjacent shape that is on the cover of the book. Like the books, like the marker of the cover of the book has appeared as a cloud entity, establishing that like this is the entity itself, and it is like implanting itself and altering the chemical properties. Like, and it is using these books almost as like eggs and like implanting its presence onto like books, written material, TVs. We do see some televisions and like computer screens also getting the leather skin face.
like bloating and sort of bulging out as the screen of the TV
Yeah.
turns into like a jelly, and whatever's inside turns to like paint, and it just oozes out the front of the TV.
This is very Cronenberg Videodrome-y.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
I was
it.
gonna
Oh,
say,
yeah.
I was gonna say, Clive shout out to Clive Barker, who is getting some royalty checks right now.
A leader in the ooze field. This is a quick aside, but I have some unused ideas for like types of superheroes I was gonna be, and one of them, no joke, is the moisturizer, a skincare maniac who made her skin barrier so strong that it can repel bullets, and I feel like she would have been really useful in this situation.
Oh, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what?
Alas, she is not here.
Dang it.
A real shame. Could have used them. So that's the vibe, and we see how this bookstore has become demolished. How do your character? How do you want at this moment your characters to get involved, or do we want to like set some more scenes and get some more visuals?
I'm ready to get involved.
Yeah, I think
I'm
we should
ready to
hear about
appear.
how y'all get involved.
All right.
I'm cooking an idea for this diamond card.
Okay.
So I think if we hear from y'all,
Zen,
be
do you? I feel ready, but I don't want to step on your toes if you
Sure. Well, this is a scene of true grotesquerie on display. I presume that the public is beginning to run and panic in fear, but they are also beginning to take advantage of the tumult. They are also beginning to hassle each other. They are beginning to steal each other's vehicles and personal property. A lot of bedlam is beginning to break out, and hovering down out of the increasingly skin-like sky, shifting hypno-countenance, radiating dark reflections, is humanity themselves. Booming voice proclaiming, "You shall persist cancer-like indefinitely, for the world shall not be destroyed, but rather it shall be a plague pit, and mankind shall fulfill its own corrupt prophecy and build for itself a future of corruption, conflict, suffering, and backstabbing. So personally, I think that this is pretty great."
So humanity is pro skin books.
Yes, this is how you save. This is how you save humanity. You let humanity become what it must become. This is good. This is ideal, you might even say.
So, I mean, I think there is truly a moment where, as you are saying this, I think that the face I think the very brief cliffhanger moment that I want to put is like the face in the clouds appears directly in front of humanity, and like we see it it's like sharp leathery aesthetic forged in the clouds form into kind of a smile and just utter
Hey, man.
I think this is the beginning of a very productive partnership.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yes.
dang.
Matt, we've got our work cut out.
Yes, it is true. Let this be the end for all.
So what's going on in Carl?
Okay.
Yeah, what's happening with Carl Bordeaux?
So Carl Bordeaux is maintaining his day life as a mailman, and
That's right.
yeah, because he's got to
You gotta
do something.
make ends meet
Yeah.
somehow.
Gotta have a
Yeah.
job. Listen, it's
It's
a
a
living.
good cover. It allows him to be around cardboard. You know.
And plus, I mean, that's government
Yeah,
benefits.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Pension, probably?
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think he's literally just on his route, driving around the city, perhaps even going to the bookstore. Maybe that's one of the stops on his daily route to pick up whatever outgoing packages the bookstore had. He sees this malchemical event happening in the distance. The sky darkens, giant face appears. He can hear humanity's voice echoing off of the buildings. He sort of sighs heavily and puts the mail truck into park, and hops into the back of the truck, where he changes into his super suit, which is entirely made of cardboard, but it's like incredible engineering. Like, he is the best cosplayer of all time. You would not believe what he can do with cardboard.
Yeah, when you become super, you become excellent. at
Yeah.
Yeah.
making
Oh,
yeah,
outfits.
It's sort of like vaguely like an Iron Man kind of, full body robo suit made of cardboard. And the benefit of that is his suit is made of the very material that he can control. So I think the suit can, adapt to fit the needs of the moment as necessary. For example, he, with his mind, engineers some like extendo stilts that sort of bend and flex and allow him to walk over the intervening city blocks to get to the scene of the crime very quickly. And as he views the leathery skin books and the dripping mercury trees, he feels a very personal fear and dread welling up in his stomach, because I think Captain Cardboard is uniquely threatened by this problem, because his whole power hinges on access to a certain material. So if
true.
cardboard gets transmogrified into anything else, then he's just Captain.
Yeah, he's gonna get Malcolmized.
Yeah. So I think for the moment
he's just Captain.
he's charging up, full of vim and vigor, ready to help. And I think in this moment he's actually paralyzed by fear and indecision as he realizes the nature of this problem and is wondering if it is safe for him to dive in or if he's just going to be immediately throwing himself into a situation he's destined to lose.
Like a piece of cardboard in a puddle of water.
No, listen, that's actually very insensitive because there are many types of cardboard that with a plant-based treatment can actually be made to be water resistant, if not completely waterproof. So being thrown into a puddle would actually be no problem as long as it was recovered in a reasonable amount of time.
My mistake.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, like if you've ever had a CSA or like, you know,
True.
produce
Yes,
delivered in a box,
you're
that's
totally
the kind
right.
of box I'm thinking
You're
of.
completely right.
This educational interlude brought to you by Daniel Mart.
Daniel Mart.
All right, phenomenal. And so Mirror Man, well, you said you had a visual of a scene involving this diamond.
I've got an idea cooking. So the card that I drew was the diamond that reads, "Don't lose yourself in the reflection." And I'm compelled, I think, as a person who tries to see himself in the world around him, to attempt to help people who are being affected by this horrible skin scenario. Even when we don't quite know what is happening, I think Mirror Man sort of approaches the scene and, in a style not dissimilar to the strange entities from the mirror gallery in the museum, starts to have a little bit of a, can force himself to reflect the world around him, to become a little bit of that Quicksilver beast, that thing that can reflect the essence of something back to itself. And as he strides into the maelstrom of people and chaos around him, the shouting of humanity in the air above and becoming confused and conflicted by the sounds, finds it overwhelming. And there is a challenge in trying to corral this chaos and attempting to bring it to order. And I think for a moment, or at least the end of this particular issue, maybe, if that's how these are broken up, Mirror Man, clutching his head, kneeling on the ground, face a strange whirling rotation of facial features not dissimilar to humanity, has perhaps become overwhelmed and overtaken by what is transpiring here outside of
Humanity.
outside of the
This is
bookstore.
just in the background. Okay.
Great.
This is so good because, like, this is information that wants to be learned.
Yes.
So even though you haven't actually gone to pick up a book to rifle through it, you have chosen to reflect it into yourself. So you are, and who knows, you might pick up a new skill.
Who knows? I might run the risk of how it operates. But
All right,
Yeah.
draw me 2 more cards. And then we're going to assign 2 more statements.
This is getting good.
This is getting
Here,
juicy.
let's do it this way.
Big
Okay.
times in big city.
Okay. Oh, I've drawn one of my cards. This is a hearts card, and it's for my little brother, Ricky Bordeaux, the veterinarian in training, who's a very wholesome. He's everything I'm not. He's just a ray of sunshine.
I am going to I'm gonna take the reins here and pull a specific of the 2 prompts. As a result of the menace, this person acquires a power they should have never had. Amend their card appropriately. What do we see of Ricky gaining a new power?
Oh,
and this
God.
is the influence of Malcolmy. Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, not Ricky. Okay, so yeah, we cut to he's always either at like veterinary school or at the animal shelter that I helped repair that one time. And I think the puppies and kittens are just constantly in danger because this is big city.
Yeah.
So we cut to Ricky Bordeaux, who's like, go, go, go. He's like, leading the team of veterinarians and volunteers there. And they're just running around carrying puppies and kittens to a safer location. And Ricky is staying behind. He goes back one last time, even though the sort of malchemic corruption is spreading from the nearby bookstore. He goes back in one last time, like a firefighter diving into a burning building to look for survivors, because he hears one last kitten meowing.
Sure.
But is it really a kitten at all anymore?
Oh God, no! He walks in. He goes into the room with the cages.
Kennels,
Or
yeah.
they're not cages.
We call them kennels.
Right, we call them kennels. They're not cages. And instead of a kitten, there is lying one of those books, but it's open, and from it is
And meowing.
emanating this meowing sound. And I think like a face hugger, once he gets close enough, it turns to him and just like whoa, launches and snaps closed around his head.
Not Brother Ricky.
Yeah, but instead of going down, he struggles for a moment, and the book fans open, all of its pages facing forward, replacing his head. And I think he has become the first, perhaps the first of many, of the human avatars of this malchemical lord. Do we have a name for the Uber entity?
I don't understand them yet.
I think this is a comic book moment that I love with all of my heart. We've been saying the word, and I think the word that we've been using is the name of the enemy, and I think this is where Ricky utters it and just says like, I am Malcolmy.
Or Malcolm for sure.
Malcolm for short. I'm so happy.
Oh dear.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Poor Ricky.
Oh no.
All right.
I hope that there's a way to save him without killing
I mean,
him.
it might also be that Ricky gets a great tie-in comic where now he's Malcolmy and he gets to do superhero
Yeah.
stuff like,
Yeah.
you know, it.
Yeah, if we can just fix being evil problem, I think he'd be a super useful dude to have around.
Yeah, well, we need to monetize this and have a lot of comics that
And
need to
action
buy in
the
order
toys,
to.
a Happy Meal. You think we can get a
I think
Happy
we
Meal?
can get a Happy
Jeff?
Meal.
You
I
got
think we
connections?
can
Okay.
make that deal. What's our second?
Yeah.
What is our second card?
So the second card is a club that reads My Basement Workshop.
Oh, that's also mine.
Nice.
Does this space
This is a very cardboard centric.
does this space now serve the menace, or does it vanish, or does this vanish or seal itself off to avoid harm?
Well, I'll explain what I'm imagining it is a little more, and then we can all
Yeah.
decide. Just that in my probably very modest first level apartment that I have in the basement, I've turned it into my cardboard tinkering workshop where I do all of my. Originally, this was sort of my haven after I got laughed out of grad school for my, revolutionary cardboard ideas, and I would just hang out down here like I'll show them all, making really ingenious packages that were eco-friendly and efficient out of cardboard.
Different box cutters on the pegboard on the wall.
Exactly. But now that since gaining my powers, it's become a little bit more cool, a little bit more mad scientist lair, or crazy surreal architecture. But yeah, it's basically where all of Carl's cardboard projects are kept.
So, does this become a place in service of the menace, or does this seal itself off to avoid harm?
I feel like we need a bastion, man.
Yeah.
Like we've experienced a lot of L's in the last few minutes.
And it feels so good for Captain Cardboard to have this moment of like, things are so bad, and like cutting to like peak mid-crisis event where like this workshop space has just become like the sealed off like war room is very exciting and cool.
Yeah.
I offer just as a visual concept in the stage production of Peter Pan, I'm thinking of the one with Mary Martin, they build a house for Wendy, the Lost Boys do, and it is basically made out of cardboard. And there's sort of this dramatic scene in the play when all of the Lost Boys and Wendy go into the house and slam the cardboard door shut. Perhaps there is a similar cardboard door inside of the basement door.
Oh, yes. Like the outside of the house looks normal, but the
Yes.
door down to the basement is cardboard.
And it is that seal, that sort of whisper of corrugated cardboard rubbing against corrugated cardboard of the door
Yeah.
closing.
Okay. So may I suggest, unless Matt, you object, that somehow being faced with his kryptonite, things being turned into things other than cardboard, potentially, Carl has somehow like met up with Mirror Man, like rendezvous, and like we have to have a safe space, and like can we can we both be there, or is that a scene you want to?
I would love to call for a scene between the two of you, very specifically of right down the middle of that of if Mirror Man is jumping between mirrors. I would love to see the scene where Mirror Man arrives here, whether or not you two know each other previously. I want to see the scene where Mirror Man's I want the end of an issue of a Crisis comic when like a character shows up in another place and it's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. Okay.
I dig it.
So what about this? Like, and Mirror Man is he good? Is he cool? Like,
He's probably able to manage to not lose himself in the reflection just yet.
Okay.
He got out.
and then maybe where you spat out was like my bathroom mirror or something.
Perfect,
You were like
yes.
swimming around through the mirrorverse, like
as long
it's
as I can
something-
fit out of the frame of the mirror.
Yeah. Well, how
this
big
is key.
are you? A big guy?
Not huge.
Okay.
So a bathroom mirror would work fine.
Yeah, he's young Mirror Man.
Yeah,
remember.
like Spider-Man sized.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Okay, so something called to you, like there was a sense of safety from this direction, like go here and you will meet up with allies. And so yeah, you get spat out into this unfamiliar bachelor bathroom. And a few moments later, you see the door open and Captain Cardboard is standing there, and I'm just like,
Come with me,
And who are you?
Captain Cardboard.
Oh.
I've seen you around, Mirror Man, right?
Yes, it's me. You might recognize me from my fabulous series of comic books, Mirror Man.
I don't have time to read much.
I understand.
Books are a little flimsy for my taste,
Got it. Well,
but still adjacent to my skill set. Maybe I'll read it later, but there's some stuff going on in the city right now. I don't know if you've noticed.
unfortunately, I have Captain Cardboard. But first, can you tell me where we are?
This is my house.
Good.
But below my house is my lair. And I've been working on making that sort of the center of operations for
All
the
right.
thing that's going down in Big City right now. And I need allies.
Well, let's go there and be allies together and make plans to save Big City.
First, before we go down there, how can I trust you?
Well, Mirror Man turns into Carl Bordeaux.
Oh, that really freaks me out.
Sorry, I quickly changed back into just Mirror Man.
Okay, so what you've shown me is that you can change just like the Malcolmist stuff.
And I was going to say you could ask me something that only you would know, and I might know it.
I also find that deeply unsettling.
Oh, well, I mean, it's up to you.
You seem sort of
It's part of my power.
You seem sort of disarming and like I'm supposed to find you non-threatening in the context of this narrative, though. So,
Well, that's how mirrors are. They're just sort of there.
well, that's
That's
deep.
like me.
Well, I'll tell you something about me then. The purpose of cardboard is to protect, if you think about it. So, that's kind of my whole identity and vibe. Anyway, okay, let's go down to the cardboard layer. So, yeah, we go down there and we probably engage in some discussions about how to keep this under the radar so that it doesn't get like subsumed. Because here, surrounded by my cardboard, I'm very powerful. But if this were transformed into something, anything other than cardboard, I would just be a mailman again.
Well, let's avoid that if we can. It seems like cardboard is sort of important to you.
Yes, I say, stroking the side of a cardboard box with emotion.
So truly something that I love, and that like that getting to sit back and watch that interaction unfold, something that I adore is like the moment in crossover stories when characters with vastly different vibes like
Just a tone mismatch.
it's that
Kind of like a Deadpool Wolverine.
yeah,
too.
the sense of like
Think
these
it.
characters, like it's that sense that these comic books should not be crossing over, which makes this even bigger and more exciting.
Yet here
And
we
just
are.
that sense of like, I guess we gotta exist in the same world.
We've got to write our way out.
Great. So now we are coming to we would normally make a choice of whether this is going to be engaging with the menace directly or using this as a backdrop to a more personal tale. I think that what we have set up is a direct engagement, and also I think that we are like dramatically rewriting the rules here on the fly because of the fact that this is now a 2-on-2 tag match that like, we're going to retrofit these rules into the four of us are in direct conflict.
They're more guidelines.
Well, or is it? This is ultimately a story about heroes. Perhaps there really is a hero in all of us at the end of the day. We'll just have to read the next issue
That's
to find
true.
out
Are you
what that
saying
might
humanity can be redeemed? I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
saying
about
you'll
that.
need to purchase the next issue and exclusive at Daniel
Great.
Mart. And
We're
then
just
you will be
standing.
surprised.
We're just standing at the newsstand at this point, like, oh god, well I gotta find out what happens next. Shopkeep, give me the next
All
one.
right.
Perhaps there's
Oh, man.
humanity inside humanity that still remains yet to be tapped. There's only
And
one
that
way
is
to
to
find
draw
out.
2 cards as we engage in This Stops Here. Draw me 2 cards, tell me what they are, and we'll assign a statement.
2 of us, and then
Yes,
we'll keep doing it that way.
Yes,
Okay.
you're doing great.
Okay, I have one. It is the 8 of diamonds. This is one of Sarah's cards.
Oh, I guess I didn't shuffle real good.
It is too dangerous to publicly use my powers to help the world. There's a memory on this card. Is now the time for me to read this memory aloud?
Yes.
Or is the memory evoked from a previous issue and can be described?
I don't know. This was just what I was prompted to do with my backstory.
So,
generation.
so you're gonna read the card in the memory, and then you'll choose one of these 2 options. Is
Okay.
this belief key to defeating the menace, or would the defeating the menace be simple if you could do something unthinkable that is tied to this value?
Oh.
Well, Captain Cardboard's memory is: I foolishly used my new powers to repair the local animal shelter despite Dr. Schema's warnings to be cautious. This drew the attention of shadowy agents, resulting in Dr. Schema's death.
Yeah, so this was the lesson that I extracted from that experience, that it's too dangerous. Ultimately, it will bring more harm than good to go around and be really showy with my cardboard prowess.
Mm.
And this card has a symbol on it. My symbol, it says. Zen, is this yours?
It is mine.
Oh.
So this is the this is what's on your spandex.
Yes, this is the icon of humanity.
And what's the suit
Okay.
on that?
So imagine 2 very simple.
I think the suit of cards.
Oh, sorry. I got
Well, I want to
distracted.
hear about
Yes,
the symbol also, but tell me the suit first, and then describe the symbol.
Spades.
Okay. So the scene prompt is going to be this this is really
Go
There
on.
is- There
yes.
is it's one of those things where like I'm looking at the prompts and I'm reading the one that I think is the correct answer.
yeah.
The trick to defeating the menace is something wildly outlandish, but also to everything that you just said, Zen, this does hold the secret to defeating the menace, and it is the symbol of humanity. Please describe that symbol to me, Sarah.
Mm.
Or Zen, would
Yeah,
you
please.
like to
Zen,
describe
describe the symbol.
Humanity's symbol is, how can I describe this verbally in podcast format? It is a smiley face, but it is also simultaneously a sad and bad face. And if you superimpose the 2 on top of each other, like it is a double exposure photo, you end up with the sigil of humanity, a glyph expressing happiness, potential, and joy, and a glyph simultaneously expressing the inverse, devastation, loss, and ruin.
So there is happiness in there somewhere.
Oh, there is great joy and
It's just on the bottom layer.
potential
Tremendous.
and prosperity within humanity.
It's juicy that the secret to defeating this menace is the symbol of this hero that has forsaken their own path, and like that at one point they were a hero.
We love to see it.
That's got some gasoline in the tank.
Okay.
I'll give this card back to Sarah.
But I don't want to stray too far from the prompt.
No,
I feel like
please
I'm just
go wild.
spinning off my own wild
More
direction here.
suggestions
Okay,
than anything, and we're pretty deep in the weeds. I think that we're bouncing around ideas pretty fast and loose.
yeah, at this point, just call it inspired by issue X.
Yes.
By C issue X. So I think that through Mirror Man and Captain Cardboard's discussions, they realized that a 2-person superhero team is not going to be enough to take this down. You know, we might be able to do damage control around the city, save some lives, but it's just treading water. So we realized that we have to try to get humanity alone and appeal to their
Say it.
What's the word?
It doesn't come to mind,
Yeah.
Sarah. What could it possibly be?
If only we could make them see themselves somehow.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, what are we seeing on the new, like through what I can only be described as a cardboard television? What are we seeing on the news reports of humanity?
Well, on the few televisions that remain in the city, what are we seeing?
Oh, well, you're seeing the horrendous oozing expansion of the Malchemy and following it, seemingly guiding it along, coaxing it, encouraging it, hovering, because humanity is one of those dang flying supervillains, hovering with a billowing cape and hypno countenance, flickering many images, many human visages.
Like a holographic
Kind of
helmet.
a hollow helmet
Yeah.
mask that basically displays about every selfie ever taken at about 100 billion frames per second.
Ooh, displaying the
Terrifying.
perfectly average human face, which
Yes.
usually seem to be quite attractive and all those
Yes,
things
yeah,
that you see.
humanity
So we see a
smoking.
generically attractive human,
A human
blurry
hollow
face.
hypno countenance. Yes, as they hover forward, coaxing along the Malchemy, shouting in their hypno voice, "This does not make you anything that you are not already. The Malchemy, the humanity, makes you what you already are, deep within."
But question, is humanity themselves using the Malchemy powers? Or are they just sort of facilitating the spread of the Malchemy?
I have an answer to that.
great.
Very specifically. I think I'm gonna say, I would love to say, and Zen, if you feel differently, shoot it down. But like, I think it is no, because I think it is juicy, and maybe this is a moment that that Captain Cardboard and Mirror Man even notice, is like, humanity is untouched, but
Yeah.
like there is clearly something building that I think humanity is being played here.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're holding
Is very
themselves
specific.
back. Like they haven't fully given into. They don't have a book for a head yet.
Not quite.
Oh, that's another
And
thing you
so,
see
like,
on the
they're-
news. I think just
Oh, yeah.
background detail,
Yes.
like
Increasing numbers.
marching legions
Yeah.
of book-headed.
I do think very slowly, very, very slowly and inexorably, a strange leatheriness is beginning to consume their billowing cape. It is only
yeah.
a matter of time
Maybe-
until the Malchemy consumes them as well, and then they shall become something far worse than they already are.
And so so I think that's what I want to throw out is we see that leatheriness crawling up the cape, and it is very clear to somebody on the outside that like, oh, it's using humanity to like
To spread its dark
Using-
message.
Yeah. And humanity.
it's using humanity to spread the message, and then when its usefulness is expired, it will.
It will.
Yeah.
It has every intention to just
Okay.
one quick off.
Oh, yes.
So our task
love to
then,
see
Mirror
it.
Man, is to remind humanity of
Of the good.
the good.
Of the things that make humanity unique.
Yeah, and what
And
could be better
interesting.
for that than staring into mirrors and ingenious package engineering?
Perfect.
Yeah. Coming back to the other card, like the not showing my powers as a principle, I guess the natural outcome of that would be that I realize I need to make a big showy display of how awesome cardboard is to reach humanity's heart.
Wait, I've thought of something, Captain Cardboard.
What is it?
There's a problem. Because humanity, and all of the people too, have been, or are starting to be converted into this strange skin-like Malchemy,
Right.
it's possible that any mirrors or reflective surfaces we bring to the area could be damaged.
That's very similar to the problem I'm facing. Any cardboard that would normally increase my sphere of influence could just be turned into something other than cardboard.
Oh, no. You mean to suggest this might be a desperate last-ditch attempt?
I think we need to draw humanity away from the main hotspot of the malchemical activity, and we will be racing the clock, but try to reach them somehow. Try to cheer them up.
That's the problem. They're not very cheerful.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Good. So perfect. Now you have this is this is good synchronicity because the next line in the book is, now that you have an idea of how to fight the menace, it's just a matter of actually doing it, right? So we're going to draw 2 final cards.
Should I give it one last shuffle for more drama?
Give
Why
it one.
not?
Give it one last really good shuffle.
And then the 2 of you, I'll have.
Okay.
All right.
I'll shuffle
Oh, boy.
it 3 times.
Appropriate. We like 3s around
I
here.
do.
This is a great opportunity for a quick message from Daniel Mart.
Daniel Mart.
Daniel Mart.
That was it.
They just want to
They
remind
just wanted you to remind. They
that
just wanted to remind you about
Daniel
Daniel
Mart is.
That's their slogan. Daniel Mart is.
I'm also a fan of, and this is probably on the coupon spread, for a damn good deal, call Daniel.
Oh. Is it a Dan good deal?
A damn,
Oh, okay.
D-A-M-N,
Got it.
called
Or is it
Daniel.
DANM?
Damn Neil.
A Dan. A Dan.
Well,
Okay, I've
and
got
then
my card.
Anyway, could talk.
It's damnably delicious.
Try Daniel's damn meals.
Sign up for Daniel
Oh.
Deals.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we could go on all
Daniel
day.
deals on Daniel
Yeah, for
meals.
the rest of this, we're just going to be. I'm more interested in the Daniel Mart
The brand
plot
identity
line. Yeah.
of Daniel. All right. This card is a diamond that says the importance of ordinary things,
That's also from my deck.
which is an exquisite card for this exact situation, I posit.
And shall I read mine?
Yes,
Yeah.
let us know the type. And
It is a spades, and it is again Sarah, or should I say Captain Cardboard?
I shuffled to prevent this exact outcome. If we feel like it's too weighted in a cardboard direction, we
Oh,
can
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's all
This-
part of it.
This comic book is sold with the other Captain Cardboard comics.
Okay, maybe
even though it's a crossover.
Maybe
It's
this
a crossover,
Is,
all
like
of these-
Captain Cardboard is the big name at the top, but it's like Captain Cardboard in
Yes.
Mirror Man and Humanity. And,
Yes.
Listen, all contributors are receiving equal royalties, so it doesn't matter.
Indeed.
Anyway,
Yeah.
But my name is at the top, though.
Yes.
that's right.
correct.
Control over cardboard is what this card says.
That yep,
Spades.
That's for sure from my deck.
That must be from your deck.
So, here's how we'll fudge the rules. In addition to these 2 cards, because I do want to set these scenes, draw until you each get 1 card from Matt and 1 card from Zen,
Okay.
and we'll do 4 prompts for this as the big climactic climax.
Got it.
So,
Climactic climax. That's what they call that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a looks like a matte one. Do the suits matter, or only whose deck it's from?
We'll go through the suits and for prompts and stuff, or we'll wing it accordingly.
I have a spade and a diamonds from Matt and from Zen.
All
I'm
right.
doing it right.
Let's start. We'll cruise down the list of things I think is the play.
Okay.
I've got my prompts here. We'll start with spades. Which spades cards do we have?
So, this is, I think it's Mirror Man's power. It says mirror movement. Travel via shortcut through a looking glass. Needs to fit. And it also has a
Great.
memory on it. The memory of first stepping through the mirror as a child.
Great. Good. Okay. Matt, I'm gonna give you 2 prompts, and you set the scene and describe the scene that plays one of these 2
Okay.
prompts. The opportunity you were going to exploit to deliver the solution has closed. What new solution do you have to come up with on the spot? Or the solution is good, but it's not strong enough. How do you repurpose or redirect your powers to deliver the needed boost?
Clearly. Yes.
Both perfect for what we've been
So
describing,
good.
honestly.
Yes. Well, I mean, can it be both? I think.
I can't tell.
If I may-
I can't believe that I have been Jeff Stormered on my own call. And I'm going to give you both.
Is that what being Jeff Stormer is? What if both?
It is a years long thing that someone has pointed out, and people have pointed out on All My Fantasy Children and on Party of One, that if someone gives me an A or B decision, I will always say it's
Make
both
them
to
What
the
about
point
ABBA,
where that
though?
is
Yes. So here's what I'm thinking. Initially, we attempt to bring a very good big mirror down to the scene where this is all
No
going
problem.
down.
I have a mail truck.
Right, and we can use your cardboard to safely package and transport it.
I have designed the ideal package for this
Exactly.
scenario.
But unfortunately, I think the Malchemy turns the cardboard at that point into, well, the Malchemy skin goo and ends up no longer protecting the mirror breaks.
I'm gonna throw in because like I think it's not even the alchemy skin you. I think it is actively opposing you, and we're getting some funky alchemy. I think that like as you're driving in the mail truck, the mirror dissolves into like poison gas, like a mustard gas. Dissolves the mirror and fills the car with mustard gas. So you've got to like crash the car and jump out.
Of course, clearly, yes.
You must.
And through the crash, obviously, yeah. There is no way to get a mirror in front of humanity unless maybe I could try again. Mirror Man said, and
You seem like you're going somewhere with this. I'm
go
like,
for it.
I got a million ideas cooking.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
You picked up a little bit of Malcolmy like instruction, didn't you, when in that first scene where you chose to reflect? So could you make a mirror? Could you turn something else into a mirror? It would mean using the bad power,
That's true.
but just a little bit.
just a little as a treat.
Transmirrification?
Transmirrorification. Clearly, that is what needs to transpire.
Mirrorcremy.
So we try maybe upon the Malcolmized mirror to
The Malcolmir.
re-mirrorify it.
But it's a cloud. It's a cloud of gas.
Oh, you're right. It's a cloud of gas.
You could turn anything
I-
into a mirror, though.
I was gonna posit just like full on the wall of a building, like turn an entire building into a mirror and just
wait.
go for it.
This is now when we're in the writer's room part of this
Yeah.
game, right? Where there's like two different shareholders who was like, no, this is
This
in
is
my
the idea.
contract. What
Go
if?
for it.
Okay, so I feel like humanity, the singular individual, has been so caught up in being everyone and being the mouthpiece and being the like projector for everyone blended together. How long has it been since they looked themselves in the face? Could you turn their helmet, the inside of it, into a mirror?
Oh, I
Or
like
could you
that.
take their helmet off?
Yeah,
and
but
let
then what
them
about the mirror angle?
Well, then they can just see their own human face in a mirror.
That's true. That would be two things we
Could
have to
I?
do, though.
Oh, so okay.
Oh.
I will point out one of the other cards that we drew was the importance of ordinary things. I feel like that is pointing to normal, regular, schmegular mirrors. The card that
And what suit was that? What suit is that one?
that was diamonds,
Diamonds. Okay.
and the
Is there a specific way we're supposed to use that? Is that why?
Yes, but you're already so you are already fully gesturing towards it because it is when everyone is down and everyone seems lost, you find the strength to get it last one, or
Okay.
your commitment to principles.
Good to
like
know.
it's you're already
Sweet.
cooked.
So here's what I'm thinking. Because the card was mirror movement, it is my power. It is the
Yes.
memory of how I got or discovered that I had this power the whole time.
Yeah.
And I have had sort of this axiom of not losing myself in the reflection. Maybe what it is that Mirror Man must do is become the reflection himself by turning myself into a mirror. Mirror
The
Man.
one thing that you have sworn you must never do is the only way out
I
of
mean,
this situation.
this is a pretty dire situation, wouldn't you agree, Captain Cardboard?
This is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah, this is-
I'm so excited.
Mirror man indeed.
So probably this explosion of glass and mustard gas out of the mail car where we were transporting the mirror to this final conflict.
Where are we?
Yeah, where are we?
Yeah.
Big city.
I think we're now like I think we are in front of the like this is the
Okay,
climax
so
of the
this is
story.
like
we are
downtown
at
or
the bookstore.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, the bookstore.
But
Yeah.
everything's been massively transformed, so it looks
Yes.
cool and new.
Yeah, it's all
Malcolmized.
skin and
Yeah.
it's gross. But yeah, as we are sort of in this pivotal showdown, things are slowly turning into skin. Well, maybe not so slowly anymore. There are marching book-headed people all around. It's terrifying.
One of them's Ricky.
One of them is Ricky that we have to save too somehow.
Gotta save Ricky.
We'll probably just turn back, right?
What is the prompt for diamonds in this scene?
This is the thing that saves the day. Or this is, right, Jeff?
Yeah. This is the thing that saves the day.
The importance of ordinary things and being ordinary is maybe the lesson we needed to learn all along. And as the final shreds of humanity that were once present in Mirror Man,
The leather creeping up closer and closer to the head.
his appearance becomes totally reflective as he transmogrifies himself.
Transmirrogrifies.
Transmirrogrifies himself into a mirror, reflecting humanity's sigil back at themselves.
Yeah.
This ties in so well.
Good.
You asked me, Jeff, to draw 2 more cards, and we covered the mirror one. I haven't read the humanity one yet, but this ties in so well to this
good.
moment because it's also a diamond. So it could be another aspect of the thing that saves the day. It says, my ideal / mantra. This is
This is humanity's mantra.
/mantra.
This is their motivating
Yes.
phrase.
which is human nature is essentially good / bad.
Good slash bad. It is eventually good slash
And I
bad.
feel like they've been focusing pretty heavily on the bad part of that equation,
Yes.
and they've forgotten the good.
It's almost as though their mantra was once human nature is essentially good, but over time it has been
They were
lost,
like,
corrupted,
they had a bad
forgotten.
day, and they
had
were
a
like,
bad
you know
day.
what? / bad.
Yeah, basically their mantra is it's the good is just crossed out and bad is written on top of it.
I love it.
That's what it is.
All right. I love this so much. Like, describe to me how humanity what's the turning moment for humanity? Like, what's the redemption moment?
Well,
look
as
like?
the fleshy Malcolmy spreads throughout Big City and humanity themselves, the supervillain is hovering on high, their flesh cloak billowing in the wind, their hypno countenance a glimmer with the many faces of man, of all mankind, humankind, personkind. They are proclaiming in their booming hypno voice that hypnosis does not make you something you are not. It makes you what you already are, deep within. And as those words are uttered, the transmirrorified Mirror Man hovers forth.
Supported by a nice cardboard framework protecting your edges.
Yep.
What are you reflecting in your mirror self, Mirror Man?
It's you.
Humanity. And it is then that humanity sees themselves for the first time in many years, perceiving indeed what they are. And they see a warped, mutating, malchemical monstrosity that they have
I'll
become.
support by shouting from the ground.
Is this what you want to be, humanity?
And
Look inside
humanity
yourself.
looks deep within as their flickering hypno mask goes dark and opens Iron Man style to reveal a very disappointed idealist gazing at themselves with true renewed understanding. You've got a speech?
Yeah, it seems like you have a speech too.
Your speech is coming in first. Take it away.
Just, support whatever's happening with you.
Humanity, I think we've both been too rigid in our ideals. Cardboard and humanity are not fixed points in space. They are moments on a spectrum. When does a humble piece of paper become cardboard? When does cardboard become particle board? When could particle board legally be considered wood? And then there's the whole tree question as well, tying that into making paper. Humanity's the same way.
It is indeed, comes the regular human voice from the open mask of the being known as humanity. Cardboard and human nature are one and the same. Humanity gestures to the emblem on their chest plate, the smiley mouth juxtaposed against the downward curved sad mouth. And humanity looking upon Captain Cardboard and Mirror Man says, "For humanity and cardboard are the same." And humanity traces with their fingertip the squiggly curvature, almost like a smiley mouth curving into a downward mouth, curving into a smiley mouth, curving into a downward mouth. That is
Or
the
like
corrugated
the undulations
waves.
of corrugated
It is
cardboard.
like the corrugated undulation of the interior of cardboard itself, the very fabric of innermost humanity reflected within the paper craft of cardboard.
I rise myself up on a cardboard dais to be on level with Mirror Man and humanity, and I stretch out my hand and I say,
Do you know what the strongest type of cardboard is?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about that, says humanity.
3-ply corrugated fiberboard.
And Mirror Man, Captain Cardboard, and humanity grasp
hold hands.
It's time to take this Malcolmy down.
This is where the
Rock
one
music.
licensed rock song in the
Yes.
movie adaptation of the comic.
Yep. Yeah.
Or like Eye of the Tiger or something. Yeah.
Humanity's faith in humanity is renewed. They see with crystal clarity the horrible spreading cancer of the Malkami, and they bear witness to their own corruption. What have they done? They are better than this. Humanity is, as they have always known, essentially good.
Okay, humanity, we need your help getting those bookheads back on our side.
Absolutely, says humanity. I'm in.
And then, once the books are just normal books again, I can probably do something with them because most covers are...
That would be great.
Yeah.
Recycling might be very good for the environment.
Yeah, and Mirror Man you can like throw glass shards, right? Like you can just stab people when needed.
In a moment of sort of that final, like, oh, can I rest myself from the mysterious miasma of the quicksilver surface of the mirror?
Mirror Man
Shakes off the mirror visage and is able to reappear as simply Ivan Ixlac.
I clap my corrugated armored hand on your shoulder. You all right there, buddy?
I think so.
Stay with us, Mirror Man,
It seemed
says
like
humanity.
It worked. Look at that.
You've got your humanity back, or some mirror-like version of it. Good. We need your help.
Cardboard boxes are used to transport over 90% of all consumer goods.
Well, maybe we can help these poor people in Big City get their
Yes.
goods back in order.
And do you know who makes those goods? Humanity.
No, and you can buy them all at Daniel Mart.
Daniel Mart.
So, I think we see like one big montage of like people, all of the book-headed soldiers of Malkami turning back into people holding the books in their hands. The books are blasted off into the
Yeah,
sky.
they're like, wait a minute,
as
these
Captain
books are
Cardboard-
evil.
Yes.
And,
What?
Well, and I think like there's a subtext in my head that has been building that I think is a good time to like make explicit exactly like how people have been turning into the book-headed soldiers and like why, like what people have been doing as they get malchemical powers.
Mm-hmm. And
I think it. So good.
of course, the lingering remnants of hypnomanity now spreading in a positive fashion, spreading deep unity, togetherness, ingenuity, selflessness,
Self-esteem,
bravery, and compassion.
affirmations, yeah.
The best of humanity spreading through humanity itself.
But distinctly not all becoming the same pile of skin.
No.
Yes, crucial.
Correct.
Take it away, Jeff.
I think what we have been seeing, as people like what has been drawing people towards Malkami and turning them into the book-headed soldiers is very similar to what we saw from that guy in the very beginning, right? It was people were given a magic power and like the inclination, whether by sheer human nature or magical influence of like, I could use this to get one over on somebody that like wronged me. And it was the embracing of that impulse
yes.
that like pushed them towards the influence of Malkami and allowed Malkami to turn them into thralls.
yes.
Like that's the vibe. So like when you turn, as people start to turn towards community and selflessness and like turn towards one another, that's when they turn back into people, and that's when like Captain Cardboard is able to like pull the books away, and I think ultimately like we get one probably like I think if I can throw out a big climactic
absolutely.
thing. I think Malkami is thrown back into the Mirrorverse in like one big final
one
like,
last
vortex
book.
Oh,
moment.
but Mirror Man, that means that you can't go to the Mirrorverse anymore.
Well,
because
it's always been dangerous in there.
Oh, okay.
Just to be clear.
It's always been a realm
there
of
are
horrors.
monsters in the
We
mirror.
never liked that place anyway. They don't even have Daniel
And you
Mart
went
in
there as a child?
I try to spend as little time there as possible, honestly.
Okay, all right. That's fine then.
So we watch all of this occur, and we finally have the three of you standing together, having formed this team, having stood together. We the readers know that this is the first of many adventures of this trio together, and we get one big final closing cliffhanger, which is we see all of these people like back to normal and like the life starts to go on, but like a lot of buildings still have that aesthetic because like structures have been changed. And even if we have some level of this thing's power, we can't undo that. But they're in an alley somewhere far away, like we see someone sitting and they still have that skin-like structure and power, but they are unbound by the influence of Malkamy as an entity, but they still have the magical
I have a
effect.
suggestion.
Sarah, it sounds like
So
you know
do
where I'm
They
going.
pull back their hood, and it's Ricky.
I'm glad that you knew exactly where I was going
I'm
with
sorry
this.
to steal your thunder then. I was just so afraid that the thunder wouldn't happen.
And I've got one last
It was-
thunder too,
No, but
because it's comic books.
this is like the ending of Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Go for
And
it.
there on the ground, just in front of Ricky, is a discarded Hypno-Humanity helmet. Still sizzling with dark potential and power.
Oh, he's picked up forms
Yes,
to
Good
yes.
control
or
things.
bad, which will Ricky choose?
That's the question. That is the ominous question at the end of our game. And with that, that's C issue X, and that's game.
What if he becomes the veterinarium?
Danger
And he-
lives on wherever it can be reflected into our world. Malkamy.
What if he can control puppies and kittens?
I mean, that sounds great. I'll be honest.
But
that
what if
just
he does
sounds
it
like
for
he's getting ready to
evil?
like make some
Oh.
children's lives a lot better.
This has been fantastic. This has been like 90 issues of comics at
Yes.
least, several movies.
I
And
still
an
have
incalculable
so
amount of
many
merchandise.
cardboard facts we didn't get to. I
Give us one more for the road. I gotta get one
I think
more
I
for
really
the road.
overprepared. So the construction of ruffled lace collars inspired the corrugating of paper for the initial invention of corrugated cardboard
Oh.
in the 1600s.
Incredible.
That's style.
I love that.
Yeah. It was to, starch it to make it. People just
Yeah.
loved stiff neckwear in those days.
Oh,
the
heck
stiffer,
yeah.
the
Style
better.
at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, we still do.
Thank you all so much for playing.
Jeff,
this was
thank
amazing.
This is
you.
amazing.
This
We
is
can't.
so good.
It's the
What a
stopping
fun
us from
time.
playing that's going to be the hard part. You're just going to have to yoink us off stage with a cane at some point.
Yeah, we're absolutely going to just continue to mutter about this for days to come, I'm sure.
So, real quick before we wrap things up, what was your single favorite moment from play?
Oh, I think just the realization of how it all comes together. That turning point
Yeah.
when it becomes clear how this must be.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
the ecstasy of the writer's room when
Yeah.
you see it, when it becomes clear and
You can
know.
see the
When you
finish
see
line.
that, when you see the path
Yeah.
ahead, like that's where it becomes magic.
I mean,
for me.
truly, as with any really good kind of save the world kind of story, the real hurdle to overcome isn't the logistics of like, how do we kill the bad guy? It's the personal shit. So once we resolved our personal differences, I knew we were going to win. It was just a matter of punching a certain number of times. There's no
course.
trick to it.
It always just comes down to karate, essentially.
Yeah.
How much can you
Yeah,
do and
right.
how fast?
If you
and
can
how-
get over yourself and you can resolve your personal baggage,
Yeah. The wordplay, all this Malkamy,
Yes.
transmirrorification.
Yes.
This is the good stuff.
Yes, I love
all of
it.
it.
I love
this
it.
was this.
thank you for letting us
This was magnificent.
stomp all over the rules.
I mean that's the nature of
Yeah.
play, right?
Yeah.
The rules are great, but but when it's us in the room, like we are going to decide our own destiny. And
I
that's what I
definitely
love
feel
about
like I
games
have
and-
just played a game.
Yes,
I certainly do.
agree. Yes, 100%. I just want to also say a nice thing about this PDF. I think they invite you to stomp all over the rules.
Oh, that's good
it's
game
Very much
design.
the spirit
Yeah.
of it is like, obviously, just do what's best. Here are some suggestions, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, real quick before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
Great question, Jeff. Thank you for asking. If you would like to dive into the Midst cosmos, you can discover a lot of our Midst work, our podcasts, and our YouTube miniseries at midst.co.
Yeah.
Where
We don't really do social media as of the present time.
At least as third person,
I mean-
no. But you can follow Midst Podcast on
Yeah, yeah.
most socials.
Yeah, by way of Midst Podcast on social media, or
Yes, I
stay
meant we
tuned
as individuals.
to as third person, as an individual company, we don't do a whole lot with our own personal social media at this time. But yes, Midst is online at midst.co. You can check it out there for all kinds of behind-the-scenes content. There is...
We are Midsed Podcast on most socials and on YouTube.
Yes, a lot of that Mids content is available through Critical Role as well, and people who subscribe to Beacon.tv, Critical Role's membership platform, can access a bunch of fun Mids stuff. And there is also a unique membership side of Mids.co as well. If you'd like to enjoy behind-the-scenes bonus content, we have a behind-the-scenes Midsed podcast called Midsed Messages.
A whole nother podcast.
Where we
for
just
subscribers.
talk about Midsed and do a whole bunch of other wacky stuff too. So
Answer questions, etc., etc.
Yep. Midsed.co is where it's at for the majority of our work. And if you are enjoying just third person independently, we also do have a completely random side podcast that we did once upon a time called Blueberries Hill. It is a talking animal children's book series, and that is at blueberrieshill.com. That is an audio podcast of 6 episodes.
Lastly, if you're a fan of comic books,
yes.
you can find.
Oh gosh, that's such a good and relevant plug. I can't
I'm just tying it in.
What a great... I'm so glad. Here's the thing. I would have forgotten to bring that up, so I'm glad that you cited it just now, despite how perfect a tie-in that is.
Well, we happen to have some Midst Cosmos comic books now. There are, as of this recording, 2 issues available in comic book stores.
Third one's coming out in February, so in all likelihood, it is out now when you're listening to this.
And a lovely collected edition of all 3 issues, the library edition, will be available in a thicker, more cardboard-like cover.
Oh, I love that.
Later this summer, I want to say July or August.
Let's just say later this year.
Later this year.
That's harder to disprove.
It's true. Yeah, Midsed Comics. They're very good. There are 3 of them. They're very nice. They're published in partnership with Critical Role and Dark Horse.
And you don't need to have listened to Midsed to read them. Everything that we have mentioned for our works, you can start with any of it. It's designed to be equal on-ramps into the cosmos.
Yes. Select your preferred format, whether you like watching a YouTube Let's Play. That's Moonward, our miniseries. Or if you enjoy audio drama podcasts, the original series of Midsed or the current new series Unend are great, and you can start listening to them in any order, or wait for those. Check out those comics. Lots of Midsed for enjoyers of cosmic adventure.
We'll try not to replace your head with our books.
No promises, though.
Well, this has been incredible. I'm over the moon, and for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show.
Good luck, future you.
Take it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to the third-person team for sitting down with me. This game was... I really didn't know quite what to expect when we were sitting down, because obviously this game can go in so many directions. But true to the spirit of Midsed and third person and, the times that I've spent hanging out with them, this game was magnificent, and it really lived and thrived when they were, bouncing ideas and scenes and playing around together. Immaculate. Could not be happier. Be sure to head to midsed.co to learn more about Midsed, as well as everything else Third Person is working on, including Moonward and Unend. Be sure to pick up your own copy of C Issue X at potatocubed.itch.io, and be sure to follow Midsed on social media at Midsed Podcast. You can also find us on pretty much whichever social media you prefer, at Party of One Pod or Jeff Stormer, depending. And if you enjoy the show and you want to support it, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/partyofonepodcast. And join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/partyofonemerch. Or if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano Saez. We take a listener submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.